Hello, darling. This is River Roaring, celebrating the luminous life force in us all. Hello, darling. I'm River Roaring, and this episode is the first of a two-part series, Sex from the Heart, the true secret to great sex. So, I just initiated a new sexual exploration with someone, and I feel clear, open, and curious about what kind of expansion is available between us. As I prepared for this episode, I realized, well, actually, there are lots of things I don't feel, things I might have felt earlier in my life before I knew this true secret to great sex. I don't feel any fear of my own performance. I don't feel any fear of their performance. I don't feel any fear of shrinking down to nothing. I don't feel any fear of dominating and controlling, unless by agreement on these things, ... I don't feel a fear of drama or arguments, and I don't feel a fear of possession. After the 20 years that I've had in deep exploration of human sexuality, through doing and learning and sitting with dozens of teachers, and also working with clients professionally for about 15 years. And what I sit back right now at this point and notice is that I feel like there's the greatest secret, the true secret, is that our heart is a really important part of sex, and there's a lot of details around that. And yet, the way I know that, the way I understand that, seems like it may be impossible to really describe, because it's not a secret because it's not findable information. It's a secret because when you haven't experienced it, it's hard to even imagine it might be true. And so we don't seek it out. So it's a secret that's right in front of our face, but until we are moved to do so, we don't even know it's there. And I say that from my own experience too, because I'll say at my age, most of my years on earth, I did not know this secret. So I was in all of the stories that I'll unfold here that are not yet part of this. So I'm going to do my best to describe this, and then I'm going to invite you into some practices in this two-part series. Another way to look at this podcast two-part series would be a different way to perceive the lower three chakras. So I want to tell the story of sex from the heart, and I also want to tell you the version of that story that works with the chakras in a different way than you probably have heard before. All right, so you know how some people go off to the Tantra festivals and have really great sex, or meet in a bar, have really great sex, or meet on a dating app, have really great sex for a while, and then something just blows up. There's just some kind of drama, and it's basically over as quickly as it started. And you know how some people are also on kind of auto drive, having lots of unfulfilling sex. So in the first example, they had pretty fulfilling sex. It just ended with sort of like a powder keg blow up, and it was over. And in this example, not even fulfilling sex, just empty sex, just going out every night and, on the apps and just out every night. inviting people over, coming over, just kind of what some people call sex addiction. I don't call sex addiction. I don't believe it is addiction. And I don't like to use that word. And I don't like to use any kind of labels and diagnoses. And anyway, that's another story. But it would be defined that as sex addiction by some people inside our medical profession. And they would put that into a treatment for that, which I would probably not agree with as treatment. So anyway, but the person who's just kind of out a lot, having lots of sex, but it is all empty and they know it. And you know how some people also just repress sexuality and just don't agree they have any, and don't say they need it, and don't want to use it or need it, which is a totally, no path that I'm talking about is right or wrong. These are just our choices and our path. So do you know how some people repress their sexual desires altogether, as far as you can tell? And maybe you even talk to them at that level, and they say, yeah, I don't have any sexual desires or sexual needs. Well, fortunately, basically none of these situations are actually two people in their true power coming together for a liberating and expansive and heart, love, and connection-filled experience. So fortunately, there is a simple, but not necessarily easy. It's not easy, but it is simple. There's a simple path out of these knots into freedom and flow. In fact, I've watched hundreds of people take this journey successfully, the journey out of these persistent challenges in sex. And I want to help you get to the love. So I'll share some stories of what I mean, and then I'll give you some things you can do today. And I'll let you know the different way of looking at the 3 chakras and what you can do today. So stay tuned. As I share some stories today, I'm going to share a little bit more of the before stories. And then next week in part 2, I'll share a little bit more of the after stories. Before, meaning before I had sex from the heart. And when I'm working with other people on their sexuality, before we're really connecting up to the heart chakra. So one way of looking at the 3 chakras. First of all, I'm about to tell a very oversimplified story. I'm trying to make this as simple as 30 minutes or an hour. As short as I can make this into a huge, epic story that I'm sharing in this podcast. And so we actually have thousands of chakras in our aura. However, a very simplified version of looking at the chakra system is that we have 7 main chakras in the body. And what is a chakra? Chakra is an energy center. So you know how Arizona, Phoenix Airport is a hub, and all these flights go into Phoenix from everywhere, and then everyone changes planes? That's a chakra. That's our energy looks like that, and the energy centers are all moving into our chakra, so it's a huge hub of energy. You have a huge hub of 7 huge hubs of energy in your body: 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Lots of different names for them. And the 4th chakra, the one right in the middle of the 7, is the heart chakra. So it is right in the body near your physical heart organ. And I'm not going to go into the specific location in this moment because it is your chakra that is nearest to your physical heart. And it's more in the center of the body. And so below the 4th chakra of the heart is 3 chakras, I'll say 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And so chakras, the heart is the fourth. And then above that are fifth, sixth, seventh. Today I want to talk about 1, 2, and 3. Because energy flows up from Mother Earth, basically. The energy flows up your body through your 7 airport hubs. And so the airplane comes to first chakra first. There's an order in which the energy flows in a very oversimplified macro sense. I'm oversimplifying everything that it is still the truth, and then there's a lot more detail and complexity around what I'm saying, but this is the core. The energy in a very fundamental way comes up through chakra 1. If it's blocked on chakra 1, then it doesn't move up any higher to 2. If it is open, the first one, then it gets to go to the second one. If the first and second are open, it gets to go to the third chakra. So you have one way that your energy body works is that you have a huge flow of energy up your body, torso, from the first, which is very close to the bottom of your torso, very bottom point. So the energy flows up to the first. If it gets stuck there in a certain fundamental way I'm talking about here, then we say that one's blocked, and that's where your work is to progress as a human, to progress through evolution. That's where your work is. If the energy stopped at 1, that's where the work is. And then if the energy's flowing through 1 up to 2, but it's stopped there, or it's never fully stopped but blocked a lot, then I'm oversimplifying, but if it's blocked a lot, then that's where your evolutionary work is. If you want to progress as a human, your work is in the second chakra. And then once that is opened enough, your energy in this huge way flows up through the first, through the second, to the third. Same thing happens here. It's either open or closed. Super oversimplified, but that's the basic. And sex from the heart is when the energy is actually open through the first 3 chakras and your energy hits your heart. And something very beautiful, very different, very special, very life-changing happens at that one. And then there's plenty of story after the 4th, but there's a huge gateway and stargate and portal into other dimensions that happens in the 4th one. And so all the new and different way to look at the chakras, I'm going to say the concept and then I'll tell some stories. The concept is that most people who know what I just said and they want to open their chakras, try to open them sort of like doing energy calisthenics, which I do too. I love those. I love them. They're wonderful. And they work if done methodically as they're designed for. They work in a big way, and that's not the real crux of it. So and there's a whole different way to look at the chakra system than there are these points and I need to open that point. There's some very different way to look at it, and that's what I want to talk about behind this secret to great sex. The first chakra, all 3 chakras are about your relationship with your own power and love. With your own love. The first chakra is your own relationship in love and power with yourself. The first chakra is about how you relate with yourself. The second chakra is about how you relate with your partner or any other one-on-one intimate relationship, your close relationship. Your partner or your closest intimate relationship would be the best example. Maybe that's the same person. I'm kind of just kind of kidding there. And then the third chakra is about your relationship with groups such as family, work relationships, communities you're involved in, your neighborhood, the world at large as a group, the way that you relate to people on the internet, the way that you relate to groups when you walk in a room to a group, the way you relate with small connected groups like your family. So if you think of the chakras, as the first one is about my relationship with self, second one, relationship with my partner, third one, relationship with groups. The way to work with the chakras is, rather than through breathing exercises into that point of the body, because sometimes you can do those breathing exercises and then something's still but something's still off. I don't know what it is, but something's still off. I do all the breathing exercises. I've been huffing and puffing my butt off, and something's still not right in me. It not resonating happy, joyful, and open. And I really like the way of working with the chakras that is about how I relate to myself, my partner, and the groups. And the big difference here in how I relate is going to be when I am in love and acceptance. In general, when I am in love and acceptance, that one is open. When I am in possession and control, that one is closed. So here comes the first story about me. So I would go out to have partners before I opened my heart a bit enough to go forward to the next place. I would be deeply self-conscious of how I looked, how I was coming across. I would always feel I think I look really ugly, or something's wrong with my hair, or I don't have the right kind of makeup on, or my clothes are not the best style that I want to wear right now, or I bet my voice is trembling, or my body's somehow not the right shape in the right place. And that would be a large part of my experience. And what did you notice about that when it comes to someone having a sexual experience with another person? You really couldn't even tell I was having a sexual experience with another person, could you? Because what was happening inside me was all about all my insecurities, because my own relationship to myself had not developed into one of full self-love and acceptance. So my first chakra was blocked up right there. My own relationship to myself was not one of love and acceptance. Instead, it was about me controlling how I look. And if I was wondering do they like me, do they like me, do they like me? There was also this idea behind my old self that there was going to be some kind of possession decision made in this relationship where we would decide if we wanted to possess one another. Kind of sounds funny, but it's not funny. So I was in these anxieties all around my own self-love and acceptance, and my own idea that someone else could possess me or not, have anything to do with possessing me in any way of any kind. So that was my first chakra, just sitting there wow. That wasn't a very fulfilling sexual experience. I was all wrapped up in my own shit. And then I also remember having sexual experience where I'd be with my partner. This happened a lot before I had sex from the heart. I had very long-term partners during that time. And I remember this happened a lot, having sex with my partner. And during sex with my partner, I was fantasizing about someone else at the time. So that did happen a lot, and I didn't know that it wasn't supposed to happen. Just what was happening. So I would be with my partner, and while we were touching and having sex, sexual experience together, I was fantasizing about another person at that exact moment. A lot. And looking back on that, that was pretty unfulfilling, because I did not have any connection with my partner of any real connection in that moment whatsoever. I was in another completely other space. I was literally somewhere else. Well, it definitely wasn't connected. I think I'm laughing out of nervousness or something, because it's not funny. It's horrible. At least I didn't even know it, but it was horrible back then. I just thought it was how people have sex. So I was noticing in this story that it's how I was relating to my partner that was not full of love and acceptance. I was so little in love and acceptance for my partner that I didn't even know he was there. I was in another place. So I was certainly controlling the situation, and my second chakra was not open, and I wasn't able to step into real heart connection with my partner, so we didn't. And when it comes to groups, this one is less common in a sexual situation for most people. So I'll say that in groups, I have been a lawyer and a lobbyist. Do you think that there was any amount of possession or control of others in me? This one is funny, because that is hilarious, because the only job I had was to control others. That's the only job I had. I had a job as a trial attorney to control the situation and get it to go one way, not the other way. And that's defined my job. And then as a lobbyist, my friends and I would make up new laws. We'd be like smoking out in the back room, chilling with our feet up in the air at the end of a day, making up new laws. And what was I doing? It was like, hey, we should control the whole area of Texas by doing this thing. Yeah, we should control the situation. So yeah, I had a little bit of control issues with other people when I was before I connected to my heart. Kind of made a career out of it. And I hear many client stories and lots of people's stories. I know I've heard hundreds of stories of people having really unfulfilling sex, like I was talking about at the top of the show. Yeah. My own mother just saying, I don't need sexual healing, and I'm really glad about that. And I happened to know that she, hadn't had a sexual experience for decades. And then I remember a good friend of mine back in these days when I was describing the way I was having sex and fantasizing about someone else, and one of my good friends would be going out. He was in a really unhappy marriage, and then they finally divorced, and then and after that divorce, really kind of before and after, he was going out every night. Now in Austin, you could see a lot of live music back then, more than even now for sure, like times 50. But there's other stuff now going on, but he would go out every night, and I was like, really? I can't believe every night you go out to bars and clubs and live music and I know underneath it all was to find my next partner. And sure enough, yes, there was a beautiful woman who started partying with him, going out every night with him, and yeah, they got married. But that was during that time he was looking and beating the pavement every single night and wearing himself out energetically, completely. He was not connecting from the heart. He was seeking that. And I've known many people who have been on like what a lot of people would say is sex addiction. I just want to fuck. I just want to go out and have sex and just just playing. You can do that so easily now on the dating apps, right? You just get on one of them and just go, hey, let's hook up, let's hook up, let's hook up, let's hook up. I'm in Austin, Texas. It's very easy to do that. That's what this city almost was made for, it seems like, in one way. So lots of hooking up going on out there, and lots of people going home and waking up the next morning feeling really empty inside. And that's not yet connecting in with that heart. So it's really unsatisfying. And then it really feels very common in stories I hear about people going out, and friends of mine and lots of people confide in me, and going out and finding someone very sexually exciting and having really great, different, above, like way above the usual sex. But then all of a sudden, there's this explosion and there's some kind of drama, and it's just over in a poof. And sometimes really hurtful, and really lots of feelings hurt, and lots of confusion, because it's like, but we were having this really beautiful connection. It was really beautiful. So how did it end so quickly? And I would say, let's work on these opening these 3 chakras even more, so even more energy flows right up into that heart for that big heart connection. And what does this have to do with sex? So here I am talking about, hey, work on your relationship with your family. Hey, work on your relationship with, your best friend. Like, hey, be good to yourself, love yourself. What does that have to do with sex? That has every single thing to do with sex, my darling. And this is the biggest secret. First of all, wherever you go, there you are. So that means when you walk into the bedroom for a sexual encounter, there you are. It's still you. It feels like lots of people imagine that, like, oh, well, I know I'm kind of out there and kind of, and got all these issues and problems and how I relate with the world and my friends and myself, and I don't love myself. But when I go into the bedroom, I'm going to be full of love and deep connection. And I haven't seen that. I've seen, no, actually, when you went into the bedroom, it was still you, my darling. It was still you. And this chakra system that I've talked about, 1, 2, 3, and 4 for now, that is your sexual energy system. That is the core of your sexual energy system. That is sexual energy that can flow up through 1, 2, 3, up to 4. So it's literally your sexual system that I'm talking about. And your sex itself will be mixed up in the same kind of power games. That's what I was trying to describe with the stories, is that especially in the 1st and 2nd chakra, the sex is connected to in other words, if I'm not in self-love and acceptance, my sex I'm going to have with you is not going to be showing you that I totally love and honor myself. It's going to show you that I don't honor myself somehow. And if I am locked up at the 2nd chakra, I'm going to be getting into some power games with you of possession and control of some kind. I'm going to bring my own brand forward from my childhood. My own special mix. And actually, when it comes to groups, that's kind of an interesting one, because even relating with you, my lover, I might let my relationship with groups get in the way if you're a part of a community that I think is really cool, and I want them to think I'm cool. So I think then that, if you think poorly of me, you might tell our friends who I care a lot about. So due to my relationship with groups, I'm going to act differently with you right now, because I still have power and control issues to sort out in my own relationship with groups. So it actually, the way I relate with groups does directly come into a 2-person relationship also. And so again, the calisthenics alone with the genitals will also not solve this. So whether it's Kegels or way beyond Kegels where the Taoist sexual practices go, even the Taoist sexual practices who work with a lot of physical movements with the genital area, lots of like exercises and workouts, kung fu, sexual kung fu. The Tao has elaborate systems for that, for the genital areas. And even in the Tao it says you will also ultimately need to work with your power issues. So just with sex also, the fancy moves you go learn at the Tantra Festival will not solve this. So here's something that you can do today. Remember that what I'm talking about is the relationship you have with yourself, the relationship you have one-on-one with your most intimate connection, and the relationship that you have with groups, be it smaller or larger groups around you. And the key to the two sides of the coin, way oversimplified but still really potent and profoundly true, is on one side is love and acceptance, and on the other side is control and possession. So with you and yourself. So here is something you can do today. Become aware of where these land for you right now in this moment. And give yourself very as honest as you can be. So it really pays off when you're doing this kind of practice to raise your awareness, to give yourself some space where it's a little quiet and you can be a little still, because you want to give yourself space to relax. The more quiet your logical mind is, the more you'll get out of this. And the more relaxed and still your body is, the more you'll get out of this. There's a direct relationship there. So become into that still quiet place and the awareness will go up. So what you can do today is raise your awareness of your relationship with your three chakras as you sit right now, and where you might be able to make, say, one simple improvement and change right now, and just set a new intention. I'm going to change this one thing. I'm going to tweak this one thing. It's a baby step, and I'm setting an intention to do that. So assess, maybe you even want to get a pen and paper out here. Assess these parts of yourself. Awareness is half the journey, because you simply cannot change anything until you honestly see the truth of your situation. So assess these parts of yourself. Number one, my relationship with myself. Am I loving and accepting? Maybe automatic write for this. Just give yourself like 2 minutes to each question here, and stop the recording and let yourself write for 2 minutes. The first thing that comes through without any censorship, just start writing. That's one way to do this assessment. So assess yourself. Do you love and accept yourself fully? And some things to think about here. Are you kind to your body? Are you getting enough food, the right kind of food? Are you sleeping well? Are you getting in the movement? Are you stretching your body, getting out in nature and getting sun? Are you nourishing yourself? Are you loving yourself? Are you loving to self-pleasure? Are you self-pleasuring? Are you loving and accepting of your entire physical body and every part of it? Like, ooh, wow, I love you. You are so beautiful. I love you. I love you. All the parts of your body. And all the parts of your imagination. I love you. You are awesome. I love where you go, you crazy kid. My imagination runs and plays and frolics into the wildest places, and I love it. Even when it's really very bizarre, my imagination. I go, oh, I love you. Do you love looking in the mirror? Do you love the way your voice sounds? Do you love how you treat yourself? Do you love your daily routines? Do you love what you're even doing on the daily basis? How do you relate to your own self? Do you touch yourself, caress yourself, hug yourself, pleasure yourself often? So, assessment question number 1, how much love and acceptance do I have for myself? Question number 2, how much do I control and possession come into myself? How much does control and possession come into my relationship with self? How much do I try to control myself? Try to control what I eat, how I move, what I don't look at, what I do look at, what I think about. I control what I think about. I control my imagination so it doesn't go off in that direction. I control everything about myself. I'm not good enough yet. I'm not skinny enough yet. I'm not filled out enough yet. I'm not blonde enough yet. I'm not cool enough yet. I don't have the right clothes yet. I need to control this. I need to get more under control. How much is that in your life? That's the opposite side. If there's a lot of that coming out, then your work is in the first chakra, in self-love. In self-love and acceptance, my darling. It's a very tender and beautiful place to work. And we're all always on a journey on all the chakras. I'm just talking about there's a level of change that you can get to, or maybe you already are at, where it flows. It's not that you have to be perfect to have it flow. It's that you start opening it and it will change. Assessment question number 3. How much love and acceptance do I have for my partner or my most intimate connection? Am I accepting everything about them? Everything about them. Everything about them I accept. Answer that one. And then question number 4 has to do with your intimate partner, your most intimate person. How much do I try to control or possess them, or want them to possess me and take care of me and control me and have me? How much control and possession comes into my relationship with my most intimate partner? Gosh, I wish they would stop doing that. Man, I wish they'd stop doing that. I want to control that. Man, I want them to marry me so bad. I want to be possessed and I want to possess them so bad. I've got to get to the marriage. I've got to get to the marriage because it's possession. And I need to possess something and someone. I must have you. I must have you and no one else can have you. I want to possess that. I don't want you acting like that anymore. I want to control you. How much of that is in, that's your question number 4, how much of that is in your intimate partnership and person? What you choose to do. Question number 5, how much love and acceptance do you bring into groups around you? Now think of your birth family, the ones that raised you. How much love and acceptance is there? How much love and acceptance do you have for your neighbors, literally the people who live within a block or 2 of you, all directions? How much love and acceptance do you have for them? Are you like, I love you. Yeah, you're quirky, but I love you, brother. And I love you too. I accept everything about you. Everything. And what about groups? What about political groups? What about people on the internet? How do you come to them? How much love and acceptance in your relationship with groups. And finally, assessment number 6, how much control and possession comes into your relationship with groups. You want to control that group. You want them to think a certain thing about you. Or you really want to belong to that group and have them possess you. It's important. All kinds of control and possession. How much of that is in your relationship with groups? This is like, I can't live until this group thinks blah, blah, blah. They like me. Like I need them to like me. That's control. That's not acceptance. So how much of that is in you in groups? Or I can't stand this group of people. I don't like this group of people. This group of people is gross and stupid. This group of people is stupid. This group of people is ugly. That's a control and possession judgment. That's a blocked chakra, my darling. So I hope this has been helpful today. I've really enjoyed sharing about it. To sum up, there is a great treasure and a great magical land in having sex from the heart. And in this I mean my chakras are opened up, 1, 2, 3, enough so that a lot of energy comes up to 4, my heart. And I can literally have sex with my heart open, because now I can connect with you deeply, fully, love you deeply, fully. I fully, to a great extent, I'm on a journey, and I've gotten to a certain good point in the journey of I love and accept myself. And I continue that journey because I continue to love and accept myself more and more all the time. And that chakra opens bigger and bigger and bigger, and more energy flows. This is a lifetime journey for all of us, I believe. And also, it gets easier, and the chakra gets bigger, and it starts feeding on itself in a good way. So, your own love and acceptance, or your own love and acceptance of yourself, opens your first chakra. Your own love and acceptance of your most intimate partners opens your second chakra. Your own love and acceptance of groups of people, of all kinds of groups of people, opens your third chakra to the heart. And yes, I'm saying that the biggest secret is that doing this work gets you to the magical land where you now, something very earth-shattering happens in the fourth one. And now you are open in a completely different way of connecting fully, because I love and accept myself. I love and accept you. And I love and accept all. Now let's open the doors to the gate of the heart and just let our light connect in with one another's light, because you're in the same place when you have heart-connected sex with two people who have the chakras open to the fourth. Let's just open our doors of our heart and let the light shine from person to person, from you to me, from me to you. Let's just open and exchange all this love and acceptance. And it is so divine and so juicy. And it changes everything, because I have no further need or use or occurrence, very rarely, of my own insecurities. They're a day gone by. The big part of it. And same with my judgments about you. That's a kind of a day gone by. At least a big part of it is gone by. I know how to work the system and work my path. And when I find myself not doing these things now, I see it more quickly and remedy it more immediately. because I'm cleaned up a lot in those areas. And I love and accept other groups of people without needing them to be a certain way and like me or anything, not worry about being liked. We can open so big and connect so deep and keep it so real and so beautiful. So, my darling, thank you for listening to this. Next week in Sex from the Heart Part 2, I want to share the deeper spiritual angle on this, the cosmic perspective on this, as well as more stories and more things you can do if you're interested in the spiritual quantum physics part of this story. Because really, physics and spirituality are now merging, and quantum physics is overshadowing Newtonian physics, and quantum physics is actually a bunch of scientists with pencils and papers just trying to describe spirituality. And so spirituality has already worked out a lot of these issues and problems that the quantum physicists are like, wait a minute, we think everything is consciousness. We're going to have to really bear down on this and really figure all this out. And spirituality is like, yeah, we know. We've already mapped it out, actually, my darling. So whether you see it as physics, quantum physics, or whether you see it as spirituality, they're merging, my darling. And part 2 next week is going to be that angle on this subject. So stay tuned. And I want to leave you with one quote. So this quote is about energy, and I want you to know it could say sexual energy just as easily because it's the exact same thing. And this is a quote from Quo, Q apostrophe UO. Each time that you put yourself down, each time that you're harsh, each time that you feel so isolated and alienated that you deny your brotherhood with all that is, or your sisterhood with all that is, you close down a little bit of that channel, which is bringing in infinite creative energy to your body. And each time that occurs, there's less energy into the heart. So basically, those who have not worked through the issues that confront them at these 3 levels, self, self with another, and self with its groups, each time that you allow these issues to come and to be feared, you have shut off some of the power that you need in your heart in order to live the life that you wish to live. I love that quote, and it came up in my spiritual readings today. So thank you, Goddess, for that. And my dear listener, I want to hear from you. So please leave a comment if you see this podcast on a social, or even better yet, I don't always see all the comments. I'm going to try to do better. Shoot me an email, and you can get that at riverroaring.com, my website, riverroaring.com, and click in on Let's Talk River. Let's connect, let's talk. There's also a suggestion button at the bottom, and it just shoots an email to me. So you can give me any kind of comment, any kind of feedback. Let me know how this one hit you, and let me know your experience with your own lower 3 chakras. Because, my darling, I am on earth to support those who are called to bring maximum love and light into their lives, liberated self-expression in all realms. I'm here to help us bridge worlds where all is sacred, connecting with you to create a cosmic web of love and light throughout the realms. Together, we can step into a more harmonious vibration. We can fly higher, shifting human consciousness forever for the highest good of all. So may the love be with you, my darlings, and may the love be with us all.